Prologue. The mansion that remembers. They say the old Creole mansion on St. Lazarus Street only appears in December, only when the veil is thin enough, only when something on the other side is watching. People whisper that its windows glow before dawn, as if lanterns burn behind lace curtains. Others swear shadows walk across the balcony, even though the place has been abandoned for a century. And some, only the ones who dream too clearly, say the door in the east hallway isn't a door at all. It's a crossing. And crossings always take something from you. On the coldest night of the year, when the moon was a thin silver blade, a woman named Mara Vale stepped onto the property. Snow clung to her hair. Fear clung to her heartbeat. She hadn't come to chase ghosts. She hadn't come to investigate legends. She came because the mansion called her by name. Chapter 1. Screensy at the threshold. Mara stopped at the front steps, boots crunching against frost. The wood was darkened with age, but the wreath on the door was fresh. Pine cedar and winter roses tied with a blood-red ribbon. Someone had been here recently. The gas lamps along the walkway flickered. The flame nearest her flared bright and then dimmed as if breathing. And in that dimming, Mara noticed something small sitting beside the bottom step. A fox, but not a normal one. Her fur shimmered gold and copper like embers behind glass. And her eyes, oh God, her eyes, were not eyes at all. They were screens. Bluish light flickered across them in pixelated waves, and shapes moved beneath the glow. Silhouettes, symbols, fragments of places Mara didn't recognize. The little fox blinked, her screens glitching softly. "Are you lost?" Mara whispered, half afraid the creature would answer. Instead, the fox tilted her head and stepped closer, her paws making no sound on the frozen ground. She brushed her nose gently against Mara's hand. A spark ran through her, not warmth, not cold, something older, a signal. The fox turned toward the mansion door, tail flicking twice as though instructing her. "Do you want me to follow?" Mara murmured. The fox nodded, and Mara, despite every instinct screaming to leave, stepped inside. Chapter 2. The manor that shifts. The foyer smelled of cinnamon smoke and old paper. Christmas lights twined around the staircase, glowing softly even though no electricity hummed in the walls. A name drifted through Mara's mind, one she had never heard, yet somehow remembered, Screensy. The little fox's screens pulsed in response. Screensy led her into the ballroom. Chandeliers glittered above evergreen boughs. A music box spun on a table by the window, playing a lullaby Mara recognized, but knew she had never heard. Something moved at the far end of the room, tall, graceful, hat lowered, cane tapping. He stepped forward into the light. The Baron Samedi black suit, gold trim, holly on his lapel. A skull grin painted across his face. Baron said, "Well now, took you long enough, Cher. We've been waiting on you." Mara said, "We?" Candlelight flared. A second presence stepped forward. Red curls, eyes glowing like coals. A winter crown woven into her hair. Maman Brigitte, protector of the dead, breaker of illusions. Maman told her, "We want nothing from you, child." But Screensy does. Screensy sat between them, her screens showing the east hallway, the hidden door, and a blinding shimmer behind it. Baron advised, "That door's waking up, and it don't open for just anyone." Maman reminded, "It opens for the one who is hunted." Mara asked, "Hunted by what?" Screensy's eyes flickered. A silhouette appeared, tall, thin, too many joints. Mara's blood ran cold. Baron stated, "Seems our time is up." Maman warned, "The creature's on the grounds. If you value your soul, follow the fox." Screensy bolted. Mara chased her. And behind her the mansion creaked, old bones waking, ready to defend her. Chapter 3. The Snow That Remembers. Mara sprinted after Screensy, boots slipping on the polished wood as they fled the ballroom. The mansion groaned behind them, timbers shifting like ribs, expanding with a breath. The fox darted down the east hallway, her screen eyes flashing warnings Mara couldn't understand. When they reached the end of the corridor, Mara froze. Snow, a perfect drift of it, inside the house, piled against the wall like winter had crawled through the cracks. Screensy pawed at it urgently. Mara asked, "Why is there snow in here?" The temperature dropped sharply. Frost spread across the wallpaper like veins. A whisper rose behind her. Not a voice, not breath, something older. The snow moved. It shifted like something was swimming through it from the other side. Screensy growled, soft but fierce. Her screens brightened to a piercing white. A skeletal hand burst up through the snow. Long fingers, too many joints. Skin stretched thin like parchment. Mara stumbled back, heart slamming against her ribs. The creature rose slowly, impossibly tall, unfolding itself joint by joint like a nightmare learning how to stand. Its head tilted, empty eye sockets, teeth like carved ice, a neck that bent the wrong direction. And when it opened its mouth, Mara heard her own voice scream from inside it. Screensy leapt between them, screens flashing symbols like a spell. The creature recoiled, not from Mara, from the fox. Creature whispered, "Givama, Thacoda." Mara shook her head violently. Mara hollered, "I don't have any code." Creature growled, "Youdreamedit, Youdoweit, OPIN, Ftawidio, Faidoor." The hidden door, the one Screensy showed her. The creature raised its arm, bending backward at the elbow like a broken marionette. It reached for her. Before it could touch her, footsteps thundered down the hallway. A cane slammed against the floor. Baron demanded, "Get away from my guest, you hungry shadow." Candlelight exploded behind him. Maman Brigitte strode forward, fire sparking from her fingertips. Maman taunted, "You picked the wrong house to haunt tonight." The creature hissed, retreating into the snow. The drift collapsed in on itself. Gone. Mara asked, "What was that?" Baron informed, "Trouble." Maman added, "And it won't stop here. Not until you see the door." Screensy nudged Mara gently. Her screens now showed a symbol, a circle split in half, light on one side, shadow on the other. Baron told Mara, "Time to finish what started calling you, Cher." And with that, the mansion groaned again, walls reshaping, guiding them toward the place that wasn't a place, toward the hidden door. Chapter 4. The hidden door awakens. The hallway shifted under their feet, the boards stretching, lengthening, as if the mansion itself were pushing them forward. Screensy trotted ahead, her tail flickering like static, casting faint light on the warped wallpaper. Mara wiped the cold sweat from her forehead. She wasn't sure if she was breathing fast or if the house was. Baron tapped his cane sharply. The walls straightened, the floor settled. Baron growled, "I said easy, Cher. She ain't ready to run yet." The groan of the mansion softened, almost obedient. Maman Brigitte walked beside Mara, firelight pulsing between her fingers, keeping the shadows at bay. Maman advised, "Don't look back. The snow remembers you now." Mara swallowed hard. What does that even mean? Maman warned Mara, "It'll try to shape itself into things you fear, things you lost, things you still owe." Screensy looked over her shoulder, eyes flashing a series of geometric sigils. Warning symbols, Mara guessed, though she still understood none of them. The corridor narrowed until they reached a part of the mansion Mara had never seen before. The wallpaper here was older, cracked, yellowed, patterned with vines, curling around a door frame that wasn't a door frame. It was simply a blank wall. flat, motionless, but humming. Screensy pressed her paw to it. A ripple traveled across the surface like water disturbed by a stone. Mara felt the hair rise on her arms. Baron motioned with his cane. Go on now, touch it. Mara shook her head once. No, not until someone tells me what's behind it. The Baron's smile faded. Baron gently said, memory share, and something that's been following you since long before you had children of your own. If the wall pulsed faintly, Maman stepped closer, lowering her firelight. Her eyes softened, not with pity, but recognition. Maman reminded her, you opened this door when you were 7 years old. The air punched out of Mara's lungs. That's impossible. I don't remember. Screensy pressed her glowing forehead to the wall. A tone filled the hallway, low, ancient, vibrating through bone. The wall began to split down the middle like an eyelid opening. Through the widening crack came a blinding white gold light, warm, pulsing, alive, yet edged with shadows that curled like ink. Inside the light, something moved, something waiting. Baron held Mara's shoulder gently. Baron said, sweetheart, no more running from what calls your soul. Maman raised her hand, fire dancing in her palm. Maman comforted Mara by saying, if you walk through, we walk with you. Screensy looked up at Mara, eyes showing one symbol now. Simple, steady, courage. The split in the wall became a doorway of pure light. Mara inhaled slowly. Okay, I'm ready. And with that, Mara stepped toward the hidden door. The door that remembered her, the door that had never stopped watching, the door that waited for her return. The light swallowed her whole, and the darkness behind it smiled. Chapter 5. The Girl Who Opened the Door. Narrator. The light around Mara folded inward, pulling her through like a tide. Her feet hit solid ground, though the space around her was neither inside nor outside. It looked like a room made of starlight, walls rippling like constellations, floor shimmering like frozen galaxy dust. Screensy appeared beside her in a blink, tail flicking with anxious static. Mara's voice trembled. Where are we? A child's laugh answered. High, echoing, familiar. Mara's breath caught in her throat. From the starlit floor rose the image of a little girl, barefoot, hair in tangled curls, wearing a faded red jacket. The girl looked about 7, and she looked exactly like Mara. Young Mara smiled. You came back. Mara staggered backward. No, this can't be. The child stepped forward, hands behind her back like she was hiding something. Young Mara pouted, You left me here. Screensy growled low, but not at the child, at the shadows wavering behind her. They twisted like ink suspended in water. The girl lifted her hands. In them was a thin strip of paper, yellowed, brittle, covered in symbols. A code, handwritten by a child. Young Mara reminded, You made this. You gave it to the door. You told it what you wanted. Mara shook her head violently. I don't remember any of this. The shadows behind the girl thickened. Faces flickered within them. Eyes too many, smiles too wide. Young Mara, with a wavering voice, said, You asked the door to take your bad dreams away. The paper in her hand began to burn with cold blue flame. Young Mara said, But it needed a trade. Mara's heartbeat thundered. What did I trade? What did it take? The child's eyes filled with tears. Young Mara cried, Me. The shadows surged. Screensy leapt between them, screens flaring bright gold. A protective barrier. The child screamed as the shadows grabbed at her ankles. Mara lunged forward. Let her go. Her hand passed straight through the shadows and into freezing emptiness. A voice boomed from the dark. DEBTMUS-TIBEPAID. The starlit room shook. The membrane between worlds trembled. Baron's voice shouted from far away, muffled by dimension. Hold on, Cher. We come in." Maman's fire flared at the edge of the light. The shadows yanked the child downward. She sank into the floor like melting ink. Young Mara was screaming, "Don't leave me again, please." Mara dove after her, reaching into the collapsing light. She caught the child's wrist, small, warm, human, and the door screamed. Chapter 6, The Debt That Breaks the Door, shrieked like metal being torn apart. Light folded, shadows swarmed. Mara held the child's wrist with both hands, refusing to let go. The darkness pulled hard, harder than gravity, harder than fear. Shadow voice echoed, "DEBT, MUST, BA, PAID." Mara yelled, "You can take anything else, but not her." Screensy plunged into the shadows like a comet, her screens blazing in symbols no human had ever written. Golden code rippled outward, burning holes in the darkness. But more shadows swarmed, a tidal wave of ink. Then a cane struck the cosmos itself. Baron Samedi stepped out of the fracture between worlds, coat whipping in the wind that wasn't wind. Baron furiously said, "Hey, who said y'all could take what ain't yours? I ruled the crossroad, and I say there is no debt." He slashed through the dark with a sweep of his gloved hand. Every shadow he touched screamed and imploded into smoke. A second tier of light opened. Maman Brigitte strode through with fire swirling around her like a cloak. Maman commanded, "Back, away from the child." Her flames hit the shadows and turned them into drifting ash. Still, one massive shape rose from the starlight. A shadow beast larger than any before. Joints cracking, eyes like black suns. Its mouth opened and screamed 1,000 stolen voices. It lunged. Mara curled her body around the child. Screensy skidded in front of them, tail flaring like a blade of light. But before the creature could strike, the Gede ghosts arrived. A chorus of laughter, wicked, wild, protective, filled the in-between world. Dozens of spectral figures wearing purple and black top hats burst through the starlit air. They danced, spun, and crashed into the monster with impossible joy. Gede chorus sang, yeah, big ugly shadow, come dance with us." They tore it apart in swirling flashes, ripping shadow from bone, bone from light, laughing the whole time. The monster dissolved into nothing. Maman placed a hand on Mara's back and said, "Hold her tight now, you're almost done." The child, young Mara, clung to her older self, face buried in her shoulder, and whispered, "I don't want to stay here anymore." Mara nodded through tears. "You're coming home with me." Baron tapped his cane once and said, "Then let's close this bad door for good." Screensy projected a glowing sigil into the air. The circle split into light and shadow. Maman ignited it with white fire. The Gede howled and cheered as the door screamed one last time and folded shut like a dying star. Silence. Warm, real silence. The starlit floor dissolved, settling into soft, fresh snow. And for the first time, the snow did not move. Chapter 7, Where all doors lead the world around them brightened. The snow melted into golden mist. Mara found herself standing in the mansion hallway again. Safe, solid, breathing. Young Mara stood beside her, no longer flickering like a memory. Fully here, fully alive. Screensy shook herself like a fox coming in from the rain. Mara whispered, "Is she really me?" Maman Brigitte smiled with infinite softness and said, "She is the dream you lost, the part you traded away. But doors can return what they take, if someone is brave enough to walk through." Baron leaned on his cane and informed, "Debt paid, story mended, soul made whole." He winked. "And share?" Not many people would have jumped into the dark for themselves. "You did good." Young Mara squeezed her hand and asked, "Can I stay with you now?" Mara knelt and hugged her and said, You never left. I just had to remember the way back. Screensy trotted up, bumping both of them with her glowing head. Maman turned toward the shimmering air where the door had been, and explained, "Doors are choices. Debts are promises. Dream codes are the maps we write when we don't know we're writing. Tonight you learned the most important truth. No door is stronger than the one who opened it." The mansion's Christmas lights brightened, warmth returned, the shadows withdrew, and Mara, whole, healed, holding her child self, stepped forward into a new chapter, Screensy at her side, the Gayday watching with pride, and the spirits who guard the crossroads smiling in glowing candlelight. The night was dark, but the ending was good, and Mara was no longer afraid of doors.